Cult leader. Yeah. We speak the truth, but we a cult leader. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a cult leader. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a cult leader. Yeah.
It's Kool-Aid, the nigga that sip the Kool-Aid. That LaFraud, single barrel and Crusade. Got the coke going up on a Tuesday. Roast the false prophet like a gourmet souffle. Cause me no Susie, spirit gun like I.S.U.P.K. Nigga might run up in that black face like J. Boy got a cracker. King your favorite rapper. Cause I run with G's like a Green Bay Packer. I chop a Christian like a new machete. When you religionist, they look at you like R. Kelly. Still, these women wanna do me like I'm Akinelli. West Coast sisters love me like a Machiavelli. Make these crackers lick the dust off my boots. We want no cameras in our camp, we ain't taking recruits. My crew the livest, y'all suckers is the jobbers. Niggas run their lives, but they can't show and try us. Nah, I ain't the same cat who used to break laws. They just rather see me as the same cause. Some rather remain lost. My brain washed with these stained thoughts. I be repping for my niggas riding for the same cause. Cult leader. Yeah. Well, bitch, then I'm a cult leader. Yeah. Better ask somebody, bitch.
Cult leader. Yeah. We speak the truth, but we a cult leader. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a cult leader. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a cult leader. Yeah.
Right. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Barakatham to all the brothers. Yahweh Shemar Lathan Ba Shem Yahweh Shah to all the sisters. We're the I.S.U.P.K. started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. And we've been teaching Blacks, Hispanics, Native American the truth of the Bible since 1969. Right. And the truth is that you Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans are the Israelites that the Bible talk about. Right. All these laws, statutes, and commandments, that is your culture in the Bible. That is that when it's talking about law, statutes, and commandments, it's talking about your laws, your statutes, and your commandments that the Lord gave Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Right. The reason why we don't know that now is because the reason why we don't know that now is because we're under oppression. We're under oppression, and they'll tell you that you're anything except the Lord's chosen people. They'll tell you Black. They'll tell you you Spanish. They'll tell you that you African American. They even say that the so-called Hispanics came from Africa a long time ago. That's what they say. But the truth is that you are Blacks, Hispanics, Native American, and you must keep God's laws to come from out of this oppression that you're under. You must take back your culture, man. You must take back the laws, statutes, and commandments. You must take back and rank and order, right? Today's class is titled is rank and order is the Lord's protocol, right? Because that's something that the Lord gave you to keep you in order and decency. That's something that the Lord gave Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is to give rank, right? Is to give rank, and that gives order and that gives structure to the nation of Israel. That's like any other place on this planet. Every other nation on this planet has a rank and order structure in case something happened that they know how to survive, man. Who to look to when things go down. Right? When things go down, it shows you who to look to, who to look for. The Lord gave you wise men, also Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to look to. And it's not who those Christian, it's not who those who the so-called white men set up. It's not your Christian pastors. They're not the wise men. They're not the wise men that the Lord set up. It's not Barack Obama. It's not Joe Biden. Right? They're not that's not the wise. It's not what's his name? TD Jakes. It's not Queffro Dollar, right? It's none of them. It's none of them men. They're not wise because they still break God's laws. They're not wise because they don't go into that. But they don't tell you that you're the lost sheep of the child of the lost sheep of the children of Israel. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you that you're the Lord's chosen people. They have never told you that, right? They'll tell you that you African American. They'll tell you that you everything else under the sun. That's what they'll tell you. Oh man, they'll let the oppressor rule over you. That's what they do. Here in the I.S.U.P.K, we don't let the oppressors rule over us, man, because we give the law, statutes, and commandments. We give the law, statutes, and commandments to our people so they can get them out of make them free. Right? That's what we do here in the I.S.U.P.K. It's kind of hot. That's what we do here in the I.S.U.P.K. We give our people law, statutes, and commandments that the Lord gave you to let you to set you free. Right? Because that's the only thing that's going to make you free is the law, statutes, and commandments. That's the only thing that's going to get you from out of this oppression that we're under. Because if you go anywhere else, if you go anywhere else, like let's say you go into Islam, right? Then that's just going to let another nation rule over you. That's all that's going to do is let another nation rule over you. Right? You want to become a Buddhist. They ain't going to do nothing but let the Asian man rule over you. You want to worship Krishna or whatever that is, the East Indian god, that's just going to let another nation rule over you. You're gonna substitute one oppressor for the next oppressor. Right? So that's why the Lord gave us rank and order so we can have wise men to counsel with so we can have wise men to counsel with. And that goes into your households too, ladies. Ladies, the Lord set a man over you for a reason, for protection. Right? So that way he could protect you from all the nonsense out here. The white man saying, the oppressor saying that the black woman is God. That's something to get into your psyche so you can think that you don't need the black man. So that way you can kick him out of the house every week. Right? So the Lord gave things to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to set us apart from everybody else on this planet. That's what the Lord did. The Lord gave these laws, statutes, and commandments to us as a what would you call it? As a heritage, as a culture. That is our way of being separate from everybody on this planet. That is our way. That is ours. Nobody else's. Right? So we're gonna start with these scriptures, right? Let's get let's start out with 1 Corinthians 11. Right, that's what we're gonna start. We're gonna start with 1 Corinthians and 11. We're gonna get the rank and order in the household first. Right, 1 Corinthians 11. That's what we're gonna start with. Because that rank and order, that's to give us things how give us a way that things can run orderly and keep things in order. We can keep running like a well-oiled machine. Right? Right. This is 1 Corinthians 11. Right, we're gonna start at verse 1. It says, "Be ye followers." This is our brother Paul. He was writing letters to schools of Israelites, different groups of Israelites, right, different churches of Israelites in different Greek captivities and Roman captivities, right? That's why when you read the scriptures, they call them the epistles. Epistles are letters, and they're different letters to different Israelite settlements around Israel, not in Israel, but around Israel. That's why they're named Corinthians is named after the Israelites in Corinth, right? Ephesians is named after the Israelites in Ephesus, right? The Romans is named after Israelites in Rome, right? And so the Philippians is wrote to the Israelites in Philippi, and so on and so on, right? Right. So this is the letter that our beloved brother Paul sent to the Israelites that was in Corinth. It says, "Be ye followers of me, right? Even as I also am of Christ." So he was telling them to be followers of him because I follow Christ, right? Like that's rank and order. Am I wrong? Am I right or wrong? Am I wrong? All right, that's rank and order. It says, "Be ye followers of me as he followed Christ," because he follows Christ, right? And Christ ordained him to set up to go and teach, right? So he's setting up followers of him as he's follower of Christ, right? Same thing with like Commander General Yohana did. Commander General Yohana is a follower of Christ, right? A follower of our King, right? And then Christ ordained Commanding General Yohana to set up his generals, to set up captains, to set up officers, right? That look after the people, and that's biblical, man. We're gonna get into that later. That comes straight out of Exodus. Right? It says, "Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ. Now I praise you, brethren." Right? He keep calling them brethren. Paul wasn't calling everybody brothers, because Paul was an Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin. Right? He was a Benjamite, so he wasn't calling everybody brother. And Paul was well versed in the scriptures. He knew exactly what he was talking about. He was learned in the scriptures. He was well learned in the scriptures. He wasn't somebody that just picked up the Bible and started reading it, and now he knows everything in the Old Testament, because the New Testament wasn't wrote yet. So he was reading, he was getting stuff, he was getting what he was saying from the Old Testament. So what these crap pastors talking about the Old Testament is done away with? There's nothing done away with in the Bible. All right. It says, "Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ. Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things." Right. He said, "Remember me in all things." Right. That's what Paul's saying. So before you do that, just remember what I wrote to you. If you need some counsel, write a letter back. Come see me. Something. Let me know something, and I can give you the counsel to it. So he said, "Remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances." Ordinances, right? Ordinances is a word that we don't use a lot. Let's get the definition of ordinance. Right? It says ordinance. It says a piece of legislation enacted by an authority. Right? And then the second definition is an authoritative order or decree. Right? So right now Paul is giving orders. Paul is giving orders to the Israelites that are in Corinth. That are in Corinth. Those Corinthians that he's talking about are Israelites, and he's giving orders. He said, and keep the ordinances. So he's telling them keep the orders. Keep the orders. If I give you orders, you keep those orders. And you fulfill those orders. Right? And he says, as I delivered them to you. Right. So that's rank and order. Christ gave Paul an order. Paul gave the church the school of Israelites orders. Right. That's that right there. That's rank and order right there. Just like Commander General Yohana give orders, and then the generals give the orders to the captains, and then the captains give those orders to the officers of 5,000, and the 5,000 give the orders to the officers of 1,000. The officers of 1,000 give the orders to the officers of 500. The officers of 500 give the orders to 50s, and the 50s give the orders to the troopers, and then it goes out to the rest of the people. That's called rank and order. That's called structure. That's called structure, man. That's how you keep a well-oiled machine running as a well-oiled machine. That's called structure, man. That's something that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans do not have. We do not have structures. We don't have structure in our household. We don't have structure in our communities. We don't have structure in anything that we keep. But the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, we have structure. We have order. Because the Lord set it up this way. He gave the order to Commander General Yohana, and Commander General Yohana has done a great job in raising this nation. Right? Let's start over at 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 1. It says, "Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ." Right? Because Paul follows Christ. And he's telling them to follow me like I follow Christ. Christ ordained me to follow him. And teach what he taught me to you, and you should follow me because I'm teaching what Christ taught. It's perfect rank and order. Verse 2. "Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things." So remember me in all things. Remember me in all things. Remember, I'm set up above you. That's what Paul is telling them. So remember me as you go off into the world, and remember the things that I'm teaching you that Christ taught me. That's rank and order. That's structure. That's structure right there. It says, "And keep the ordinances." Right? You're talking about keep the orders. The orders I give to you, you keep those ordinances. You keep those orders. So like, he said, you keep that order. Don't let that order go. Don't let that order pass by you. If I give you that order, you keep that order and you go do that order. Right? And it says, "As I delivered them to you." That's what Paul said. He said, "I delivered these orders to you." Right? And it says, "But I would have," and verse 3 says, "But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ." Right. So that's more rank and order. Because black men, Hispanic men, Native American men, your head is Christ. Your head is Christ. Your head is because even if you have an officer or a captain or a general or a commanding general over you, you should take those orders that come from them like Christ is saying it, because those orders come from men above them. And Christ is over all, ain't he? And Christ is over all. So verse 3 says, "But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man." Look at that. Look at that. That's set in order. That's set in order right there. It's Christ, the man, and the woman. Right? That is the rank and order of the household. That keeps the structure, and that keeps the rank and order. That keeps the structure and keep things in order in the household, is by keeping that structure, that man, woman, and child. Or the man, the Christ, the man, the woman, and the children. That's keeping rank and order. That's keeping order in the household. Because the man can't be doing one thing and the woman doing another, and then the kids doing whatever the hell they want. That can't happen. Because if that happens, then everything is all in disarray. Then you raise your kids homosexual. Your kids will be out there doing drugs. Your kids will be out there popping whores. Your woman gonna be going to the highest bidder, to whatever man wants to come and lie with her. She's gonna be going and lying with that man. Right? That's why the rules that the brother sets in the household is very important. And brothers, you need to be a leader. You need to be a wise man to be a leader. You can't be sitting on your butt all day, smoking weed and smoking weed and chilling all day. You got to be doing the work of the Lord. You got to be a righteous man in the household. If you're not a righteous man in the household, your woman is not going to follow you, and those kids are going to be is not going to follow you. So you have to be a righteous man in the household. You have to do your job as if you was doing the job for Christ, because you keeping your family intact and you keeping that rank and order in the household, that is working for Christ. That is working for your king. Because then when you leave and go set up, uh go out and go to camp and go to camp and go teach class and all this, you can be sure that your family is not doing something that you told them not to do. You can be sure about that. Why? Because you follow the Lord, and your woman and your kids, they follow you. Now that's rank and order. And you be leading by example. You be leading by example. Right. So we're gonna start at verse 3 again. This is First Corinthians 11, verse 3. It says, "But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ." Right? Because the head of every man is Christ. Right? In the household, what Christ set down for us, and what Commander Junior Johanna has set up for us, we have to keep those things in our household. Right? Keeping the Passover, keeping the Feast of Dedication, right? Keeping the keeping the feast of keeping the feast of first fruits, keeping the feast of unleavened bread. We have to keep these things. You know what I mean? We have to keep these things to keep our household intact, making sure nobody's celebrating Christmas, making sure nobody's celebrating Thanksgiving, which is coming up pretty soon, making sure nobody is celebrating Halloween, making sure your woman is not letting your kids go off and sacrifice and letting your woman sacrifice your kids on Thanksgiving, because that's what happens on Thanksgiving. I mean Halloween and Thanksgiving, yeah, and Halloween also. Because that's what happens. But black men, you have to be strong in the household. It's all about warfare. It's all about warfare. Sometimes you got to war with. Sometimes you have to war with your wife about things like that. Nah, we ain't doing that. But why can't we do that? Because the Lord said we can't. You got to go into these scriptures and you got to show her. That's why you got to be well. That's why you got to be well studied. Because you got to go into these scriptures. You got to show your woman, like, no, the Lord said, see what that sound like? That sound like just like Christmas. The Lord said, don't do that. The Lord said, no birthdays. The Lord said, no Thanksgiving. You have to go into these scriptures and you have to show that. You have to be, that's why you have to be well studied. Because you're gonna have to battle, like Ecclesiastes 2:1 said. Like Ecclesiastes 2, Ecclesiasticus 2:1 said, when you come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. So you got to be ready. You got to be prepared for everything, for everybody to leave you. And you got to give that up. If they're gonna leave, let them leave. They'll come back. They always do, because they know, because once they get out there in that real world and they find out they ain't got no protection no more, they go, oh no. That's why there's so many single mothers out here. That's why there's so many single mothers out here. Oh, it's like you. I'm writing down attendance. But yeah, that's why there's so much. That's why there's so many single mothers out here, because the man probably laid down some rules, and the woman was like, "You can't tell me what to do. Who made you God? Who made you? Who made you? Oh, who put you over me?" Then you can give her 1 Corinthians 11:3 and be like, "The Lord put me over you. The Lord put me over you." Right? And it says, this is 1 Corinthians 11:3. "But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man." Right? And it says, and the head of Christ is God. And the head of Christ is God. The head of Christ is the Most High. So it goes the Most High, Christ, man, woman, children. And in between that is where you get your in between Christ and that man is where you get your generals, your captains, your officers, troopers, and young men. That's where you get that from. Because that's what the Lord set in play. That's the Lord's protocol. That's the Lord's ordinances. That's what the Lord set up. Nobody just came into the world and we was like, yeah, we gonna do it like this, we gonna do it like that. No, we do what the Lord says do. We'd rather obey the Lord than men. We obey the Lord rather than men. Right, because the men, what does the oppressor say? The oppressor said, whoever makes the most money in the household is the head of the house. That's fooey. That's more confusion. That's more confusion. Because what if you was making X amount of dollars, and then your wife's making X amount of dollars, but you was making more money, and then she gets a raise at her job. And now that makes you null and void. Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. That's why that's fooey. That's malarkey. That's cut. That's cut. That makes no sense at all. That makes no sense at all. And then what if you find another job that's paying you more than what she's paying? Now you back in charge? No, you was always in charge, black man. You was always in charge. Don't let these the oppressor trick you out your position, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. Don't let them trick you out of your place in the house, because you was always the head of the house. You was always the head of the house. And just like your body, your arm does not do anything that your head that the head don't tell it to do. Just like the body, your arm don't do nothing that your head does not tell you to do. If your head tells you to do, if your head tells your arm to move this way, your arm's gonna move that way. That's just the way it works. But you can't have a head with no arms and no legs. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't doing nothing but just sitting there. You're gonna be like um off Power Rangers, Gordon, that little floating head that used to be sitting there talking to the Power Rangers. Oh, that man, and that don't work. That does not work. Not in the Bible, right? Now we can drop that. We're gonna get the next ranking order scripture. Right, we're gonna get the next scripture. Give me we're gonna go to ooh. We're gonna go, yeah, let's go to Exodus 15:3. Exodus chapter 15, verse 3. It says, the Lord is a man of war. Right? It says the Lord is a man of war. And what comes with war? Rank and order. That's why you have generals. That's why you have captains. That's why you have that's why you have generals. That's why you have captains. That's why you have lieutenants in the white man's military. But in our military, we have captains, or we have generals, captains, officers, troopers. Because the Lord is the Lord of hosts, right? The Lord is the Lord of hosts. And host only means armies. Matter of fact, we can get that right now. Boom. This is the Zondervan Bible Compact Dictionary. Got definitions for y'all. Where's it? I was just seeing earlier. Oh, it says host. It says host, and it just says army. Right. Because that's what host means. So when it says Lord of hosts, it's the Lord of armies. Because we are men of war. The Israelites are men of war, men of renown. Yeah, we can play basketball, we can play football. Yeah, we the best at all that too. But we also the best at war. And life is about warfare. Life is about warfare. When you come into the truth, and you gotta stop smoking. Gotta stop smoking weed and messing with women or messing with whores, right? You got a war with that thing. You got a war with that. You got a war with not doing drugs. You got a war with not selling drugs. You have to war with that. You have to war with going over Lakeisha house when she called, like, yeah, I want some of that. You got to war with that thing. Nah, I ain't doing that. No. You got to war with that thing. When somebody when one of the women call you up, hey, what they say? Hey, big head. Nah, you can't do that because you know she messing with you. You know she got a husband. You know what I'm talking about? So you gotta get off my phone with all that. You need to be paying that attention to your husband. That's something that you should say, because you got to be the righteous man on the earth. And the only way you can be righteous is by keeping the law, statutes, and commandments that the Lord set up. That's the only way that you can be righteous. If not, you just like the Christian pastor. If not, you're just like the Christian pastor. You're no better than the Christian pastor. If you don't set her straight, like, man, you need to go with your husband, because if not, you just like the Christian pastor talking about, because the Christian pastor do that. I can counsel you in my office, but then I counsel your husband on the phone. Now, anything you say to anything you say to her, you should be able to say to her husband. Y'all supposed to be, they supposed to do that together. That's why it's called marriage counseling, not counsel man and woman alone. No, it's called marriage counseling together. Right? But yeah, you got to war with that thing, though. We are men of war, and life is all about warfare. Spiritual warfare, physical warfare. Life is all about warfare. Life is all about warfare. When we go to camp, that's a spiritual war right there. But you also spiritual warring at home with your woman. You also spiritual warring at home when you don't want to smoke that blunt. You also spiritual warring at home when Christmas come and Thanksgiving come, and your family and your mama and them calling, you ain't coming over. You could just come over. No, you can't. No, because if I do that, that'd be me living a false pretense. You know what I'm talking about? And I can't live no false pretense. I gotta live my truth. I gotta live the truth. You know what I'm talking about? You gotta be in love with the truth. You can't just be in the truth on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You gotta be in the truth the whole week, the whole month, the whole year. You know what I'm talking about? You gotta endure to the end. You can't just be in the truth sometimes. You know what I mean? So if you want to take the bad that goes with it, you gotta take the good that goes. I mean, you want to take the good that goes with it, you gotta take the bad that goes with it too. And that sometimes that is you have to miss a couple, miss some things in the world to go to camp. You got to miss some stuff. Sometimes your woman ain't gonna be able to see you every day like she wants to see you, because you got to go to camp, you got to go Hebrew Academy, you got to go teach class. So maybe she won't be able to see you like she want to see you every day. Oh well. And she should understand that you out here doing the work of the Lord. And if you do the work of the Lord, ain't nothing gonna stop you, my man. If you stay working for the Lord, the Lord is have your back, and all things is gonna whisk away from you. But you have to keep those laws, statutes, and commandments, or the Lord won't be with you. The Lord won't be with you if you don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. There's so many times in the Bible when somebody messes up and the Lord punishes all of Israel for one man's mess up, for one person messing up, for not doing what he's told them. He had punished all of Israel, punish everybody. We'll lose that war. This is Exodus 15:3. The Lord is a man of war. Right? Because the Lord is a man of war. And he made Christ in his image, and Christ gave us commandments to be like just like him. He wanted to be just like us. We want to be just like him. He was the example, right? And Christ was a man of war. Christ wasn't around here pussyfooting. Christ was not around here pussyfooting. Christ was an austere man. He was all about doing the Lord's work. He wasn't sitting on the couch all day smoking weed and partying all the time. He wasn't playing video games all day long for no reason. Christ went out on them streets and he taught his people. That's what Christ did. Christ went out there. He taught his people. He taught his people the law, statutes, and he did the will of his father. What you gonna do, black man? You gonna set yourself? You gonna war like everybody else? Is you gonna war like the I.S.U.P.K, or you gonna just sit? You gonna sit this one out? You gonna get into these ranks and get some order in your life? Learn how to get some order in your household. Learn how to put some order in your in your community. You gonna learn how to do that, or you gonna sit? Or you gonna sit on the sidelines your whole life? I'm just saying. From there, we're gonna go to Second Timothy verse chapter 2, verse 5. I'm sorry, verse 3. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 3. Boy. This is the book of 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 3. It says, therefore, endure hardness. Right? So you got to endure hardness. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard that you can't see your family, your mama and your sisters and your brothers and children and wife and cousins like you want to. But you got new brothers and sisters and cousins and here in the I.S.U.P.K, you come chill with us whenever you want. We got classes 7 days a week. Come to class and chill with us 7 days a week. Right, we got camp on Fridays, Saturdays. Come Hebrew Academy with us on Sundays. you come. Hey, this is a new life here. We killing that old man. We gonna make a new man out here that understands about rank and order, right? Because you got to endure hardness, and it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing getting off drugs. It's a hard thing not messing with whores. So that's a hard thing if that's what you was into. It's a very hard thing not selling those drugs when you ain't got no money. It's a very hard thing. It's not it's not easy, but it's nothing that's not gonna kill you. It's not gonna kill you not to sell them drugs. It's not gonna kill you not to go mess with that whore. It's not gonna kill you not to smoke that weed, not to pop that pill. It's not gonna kill you. It's not gonna kill you not to celebrate Christmas. It's not gonna kill you not to celebrate Thanksgiving. It's not gonna kill you. It's actually gonna preserve your life. That's what it's gonna do. It's gonna preserve your life, and it's gonna teach you how to be a strong man. It's gonna teach you how to be a wise man. Because while you're busy not doing that, you're gonna find other things to do instead of doing the wicked things. You're gonna learn how to do righteous things, and then you're gonna teach men how to do so, and then you're gonna teach your kids how to do so. Right. That's right, Ottawa. It's gonna kill you if you don't stop it. It's gonna kill you if you don't stop it. But it's not gonna kill you. It's gonna have you live longer to stop smoking that weed. Stop doing them drugs. Right? Because if you go mess with that whore, that might be the one that gets you AIDS. You might get HIV or something like that. Mess with that whore. You might get that STD that you never had by going to mess with that one whore. That's why it's important to keep the laws of God, because the laws of God keep you keep you on the straight, narrow, righteous path. right? That's why I never understood about the Christian church talk about the laws are done away with. How can the laws be done? How are the laws of God done away with? That's like so y'all can just do whatever. If the laws of God is done away with, it's okay to be an adulterer. And they'd be like, no, but you just told me the laws of God are done away with. It's okay for you to be a whoremonger. No. Like, but you just told me the laws of God are done away with. They don't even understand what they be saying sometimes. That's how you can get them caught up by just asking simple questions. It'd be simple questions. These are not hard questions to ask, but you have to endure that hardness. You got to keep that. You got to keep that fight. You know what I mean? You got to be like the Lord, a man of war. You got to keep that. You got to keep that war. You got to keep that war in your spirit. So you have to war with that old person that you was. You got to war with those demons. Those demons that's gonna come up and be like, man, you might as well go smoke a blunt. You might as well. You have to war with that thing there. And the thing about it is, you're not warring alone, because you can always pick up the phone and call one of the brothers. And you can always pick up the phone call, and you got a lot of numbers to call. You know what I'm talking about? You can always pick up the phone, call your camp leader. It's like, you, sir, I'm having a rough time. I've been thinking about going to go do this, thinking about going to go do that, and he's going to talk you off the ledge. Because when you want to go, when you try to go, when you go do those, when you go break God's laws, go sin, that's jumping off the ledge. Head first. That is jumping off I-10 head first, jumping off I-35 head first into oncoming traffic. That's what that is. That's what that is, because that might be your last time that the Lord be like, you know what? Boom, kill him. Like that. Because the wages of sin is death. That's why you got to keep that warring spirit. The Lord wants you to war. He don't want you to give in. He don't want you to give in to those cigarettes. He don't want you to give in to Keisha, Coco. I don't know what they be. I don't know who they are. But he don't want you to give in to those. He don't want you to give into that. He don't want you to give in to Christmas. He don't want you to give in to Thanksgiving, Easter. Don't want you to give in to 4th of July. Don't want you to give in to Halloween. The Lord wants you to fight those things and battle those things. I think the Lord like to fight. The Lord is a man of war. He like to fight. You know what I mean? And he sends out his prophets to go put Christmas in the chokehold. Go put Thanksgiving in the chokehold. All right. Now we're gonna keep going with the scripture. This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 3. It says, therefore, endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua Mashiach. Right? So let's say be a good soldier. It says be a good soldier. I'm gonna read it again. It says, therefore, endure hardness as a good soldier of Jesus Christ. Right? Because if you're gonna be, if you're a Christian or coming from Christian background, talking about I'm a Christian, I do what Christ did, and this, that, and the third. No, because you celebrating Christmas. And y'all don't look like soldiers. When we be out there on the corner at camp, they be like, y'all look militant. Because this is warfare, brother. This is warfare. This is a serious deal. This is a serious deal. And the men above us are warriors. And they're showing the men below them how to be warriors. And then the men below them how to be warriors. We're raising up little warriors. But that's rank and order. Right? Verse 4. No man warreth. See? Oh, sorry. No man that warreth entangled himself with the affairs of this life. You see that word war again? That warreth? Because life is about warfare. And it says, no man that warreth entangles himself with the. It says, verse 4, no man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life. Right? We're not worried about who's gonna be the next president. We ain't worried about that. We worried about being a good soldier for Christ. We worried about battling these demons and raising up the nation. We're not worried about what goes on in the world every day. That's what everybody else worries about. We don't worry about that thing. Because you black men, Hispanic men, Native American men are separate from everything from the world. So you don't worry about the things in the world. Be of the what it says, be of the world, not in the world. Right? Or yeah, be of the world, not in the world. Because you can't be in the world. You can't be a soldier for Christ worrying about what president to vote for. How you gonna worry about a president to vote for when your king is Christ? Your king is Yahushua Mashiach. You have a king. I'm not gonna say president. That's too Christian. That's too. But you have a leader. You have a leader. So how you gonna go vote for an oppressive leader when you have a leader in Christ? He's the King of Kings. When he comes back, he's gonna outrank all that. He outranks all that now. The King of Kings. How you gonna go vote for a president? Right? It says no man that warreth entangled himself with the affairs of this life. And if you're at war, man, there's rank and order in that. There's rank and order in war and warfare. Every warfare on this planet, there's rank and order. If you fight in a war, you have rank and order. There's brothers and sisters in the American military right now, in the ranks of in the ranks of America. You need to leave those ranks and join the ranks with your brothers. Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. You need to get in the I.S.U.P.K and join the ranks of the Lord's ranks. That's the ranks you need to join. That's the ranks you need to be in. Because when you in their ranks, didn't they leave a whole bunch of soldiers over there in Afghanistan? America did. They don't care about their ranks. They don't care about the brothers. They don't care about the people in their ranks, including their own. But here in I.S.U.P.K, we learned to pick a brother up and carry him off the battlefield. If he can't make it, we pick him up and we move with him. We leave no man behind, literally. Can't say that for your oppressors. Your oppressors don't. They believe in rank and order when they at the top. But here in I.S.U.P.K, the men above you, they serve the men. They serve the men below them. With rank comes responsibility. Yeah. So when you get higher ranks in the I.S.U.P.K, you get more responsibility. So when you don't complete those tasks, you get your check-ins get harder. You get more responsibility on your back. Ugh. All right. Verse 4, it says, no man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. Because Christ chose you to be a soldier, man. And he chose you to be under that officer of 5,000, under that officer of 1,000, or under that So I said that he told you to be under that captain of 10,000, under that officer of 5,000. He told you to be under that officer of 1,000. Christ chose that. Christ chose that, and the Lord okayed it. Okay, that's what. Hey, I'm letting you run the show, son. Right now, you know what I'm talking about. Go ahead and do your thing. Set up the 144,000. Set up your government. You know what I'm talking about. I entrust you to choose your soldiers. That's how the Lord do it. You know what I'm talking about. Wow, that's pretty good. Right? And it says, verse 5, and if a man also strive for masteries, right? So if you want to be a master, you want to be a master teacher, you want to be at this rank and that rank, you want to be at a higher rank, right? It says, yet is he not crowned, right? You want to get your crown, right? That's what we all want. We all want to be in the kingdom of heaven. We want rulership in the kingdom of heaven, right? To rule this planet. I said, yet is he not crowned, except he strive lawfully. You must be keeping God's laws to get that crown. They say you must keep the laws of God. And you know what's a part of the laws of God? Rank and order. Rank and order is rank and order is that's a part of God's laws. So you got to strive lawfully if you want that crown. If you want Christ to come put that crown on your head, you must strive lawfully. But that's how you become a good soldier also, by keeping the laws of God. You don't want to be that you don't want to be that one needle in the haystack. You gotta strive lawfully. You gotta keep the laws of God. Right, we're gonna move on to the next scripture. We're gonna go to 1 Corinthians 14 and 40. Right, we're gonna go to 1 Corinthians 14 and 40. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 14. And y'all should have like a pen and paper out writing these down. Y'all should be writing these down, writing these scriptures down, going through the scriptures with me. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat. If you have any questions, you go ahead and put them in the chat. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 40. Let all things be done decently, and in order. Right? It says in all things, not some things. Not because you feel like this or you feel like that. It says in all things be done decency and in order. So it has to be done in decency and in order. Right? If you want your household to be done in decency and in order, right? You need rank and order. You want your community to have decency and in order, you need to have rank and order. Right? We don't have those problems in the I.S.U.P.K. While we don't have those problems in the I.S.U.P.K, we got rank and order. We don't have time to be arguing about a brother don't want to do this, or brother don't want to do that. Hey, you know what I'm talking about? Brothers get the order. Hey, you do that, and y'all do that, and then y'all come back and do that together. All right. Talking about I don't want to take out the trash. I don't want to clean the restroom. I don't want to sweep. I don't want to mop. But we all get together and we do this together. Everybody clean the school. We clean the school together. Everybody need to take a piece and do something, and let's get it done. It ain't you ain't got to argue about it. You ain't got to argue about it. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Hey, let's get it done. First Corinthians chapter 14, verse 40. Let all things be done decently and in order. And decently and in order. I remember we was at the cookout in Houston, and we all lined up trying to buy some of Cap's oils and body butters, you know, some of that have you smelling so good, right? And we had to line up in rank and order. You know what I mean? It's rank and order in everything. In everything. Decency and in order. It's rank and order in everything. There's nothing that's done that's not in rank and order. That's how you keep structure. That's how you keep bickering away. That's how you keep bickering away. Because everything is done in rank and order. There's nothing in this life that's not rank and order. Nothing. I can't think of one thing that's not rank and order. Nah, I tried. Not one thing. Like, who's gonna if everybody was equal, who's gonna tell who what to do? They tell you that everybody's equal, right? But then they have a president and then a vice president and then a chief executive officer, and they got all these different ranks in the American government. But then they tell you, oh, everybody's equal. No, everybody can't be equal, because if everybody was equal, who's gonna tell who what to do? They just don't want you to keep your culture. They don't want you to have hierarchy. They don't want you to have want you to have structure and order in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community. Because if we did, we'll be able to cut down half of the BS that keeps us separated. If all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans had one leader, well, they do have one leader, which is Commanding General Yohana. But if all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans looked at Commanding General Yohana as their leader and followed the protocols that he put down, right? The black on black crime and black on Hispanic crime and all that will be kaput. All that will be done with. Because everybody be taking everybody to counsel. Everybody be taking everybody to counsel. Brothers wouldn't be sleeping with brothers' wives. Nobody be selling drugs to anybody. We'll be looking like an outstanding nation, a great and mighty nation. If we had rank and order in the Black community, in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community, we will have rank. We will look like a great and mighty nation, like the Bible says. And all the other nations be looking at us like y'all see them? You know what I'm talking about? You feel me? They don't look oppressed no more. That's what they would be saying. They don't look oppressed no more. You know what I'm talking about? They look like they can hold. They look like they can hold their own. That's why every time we go to camp, there's always another nation or something that a person from another nation come up and they look at us and be like, "Hey man, we love what you're doing." They always say that. "Hey man, we love what you're doing." You know what I mean? Because they understand about structure. They understand that. The oppressor understands about freedom. The only one that don't understand about freedom is the ones that need to be free. And when you're free, you can have your own rank and order, your own structure. So you ain't got to go to the so-called white man for food stamps all the time and housing. Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to. You know how they set up crafty counsel against us, black men, Hispanic men, Native American men. They don't, since they don't want you to rule your household like you're supposed to lead your household like you're supposed to. They tell the black, Hispanic, and Native American woman that she can get food stamps and housing if you was not around and you was not in the house. So they kick you out and go get government assistance. It's not rank and order. They try to take all that ranking. They try to take all that order away from you, black man, about having decency, about being decency and in order. That's why I say when you want to spoil a strong man's house, first you have to bind up the strong man. Then they can take your spoils. They can take your children. They can take your wife. But first they have to have you on drugs. They have to have you gang banging. They have to have you selling drugs. They have to have you not being in the household and not being righteous. That's why the only way you can fight this oppressor is by keeping the laws of God and keeping that rank and order and that structure that the Most High put down for us. That's the only way. All right, we're going to move on to the next scripture. We're going to get Matthew chapter 10, verse 24. Matthew chapter 10, verse 24. Right? Because every time I talk to someone, they always go, and you tell them, man, it's a lot here. And you tell them about the Bible, like, man, yeah, the Bible this, the Bible that. They go, don't they say something like servants obey your masters? That's because the black, Hispanic, and Native American men, they do not understand rank and order. They don't understand that. You can try to tell them about rank and order, but they're not going to listen to you about rank and order because they feel like nobody can tell me what to do until the so-called white man come around, and they tell them everything what to do. As soon as the oppressors come around, they moving mountains, trying to please that oppressor. They moving mountains. I use this example all the time when you go to a store in the hood, it's always some black dudes over there like mugging, trying to look tough, you know. It's always one of them like, yeah, what you doing around here? But then soon as the oppressor come riding down the street in his bike, talking about Jesus, they let them in the house. Oh, come on in. You gotta. Oh yeah, let me take that flower from you, brother. They white teeth. They show nothing but they're smiling ear to ear. Like, why you? But that's the old slave mentality. That's the old slave mentality. Right. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 24. The disciple is not above his master. Right? Because the disciple is not above his master, right? The student is not above his teacher. Right? Nor the servant above his Lord. Right. That's rank and order right there. Nor the servant above his Lord. Nope. It's not going to happen. Why? Because somebody has to judge a matter righteously. somebody has to be there to give the orders, and somebody has to be there to take the order. It work hand in hand. Somebody has to be more seasoned in something, right? You know what I mean? You can't just come out the womb. I mean, you can't just like become a new man and just think you know everything and all things. To be and that brother that's above you, he had to go through the same thing you had to go through. Because before you can lead, you have to be a good follower. So before you can give orders, you have to be a good order taker. I don't know if that's the right frame to say, but in order to give orders, you have to learn how to get orders and complete orders and complete tasks. Because the Black, Hispanic, and Native American man, we go through our whole life starting this task, starting that task, doing that, doing that, and it takes a brother above you to be like, nah, okay, just focus on this task right here. Then you focus on this task, and then when you're done with that, you can focus on that task. It takes a brother to, it takes a man of the Lord to come in and give wise counsel or a wise understanding on what you should do next, on how you should move next, and how you should move now. Brothers and gangs go to the big homies or something, and then the big homies be like, yeah, go rob that bank, or go rob them drug dealers down the way, or they're telling them go pick up a packet, flip it, and the next thing you know, that brother's in jail doing 30 years because he listened to a old fool. And he's a fool because that he's 50, 40 something, 50 something, telling destroying the community, telling brothers to go sell drugs and not try to start a business, and not try to do this or do that, or not trying to help them out in the righteous way. But they're telling them to do wickedness. That's not good rank and order. That's not good rank and order. The men I serve, they never tell me to go sell drugs. They'll never tell me to go rob somebody. They'll never tell me to go do things like that. Better yet, they tell me something like they tell me something like, "Oh, get it, brother. Like, go get his bottle of water to that brother over there. You know what I'm talking about? He looked like he needed. Looking like what? You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? You be at odds with a brother, and they tell me like, oh man, go buy that brother a drink. What? We just got into it. We had words. You know what I'm talking about? Man, go buy that brother a drink. You know what I'm talking about? Go buy him a little 50 Hennessy or something, and go have a drink with that brother. And it works. Hey, it works. That's because the brothers, the men that the Lord set up are wise men. The men that the Lord set above you is wise men. The Lord don't set up no dummies to be above you. You don't say He wouldn't set up nobody to be like, hey, yeah, go smack them. No, that's not what happens. They tell you how to resolve the situation peacefully and brotherly. Right? So this is Matthew chapter 10, verse 24. The disciple is not above his master, nor the servant above his Lord. Verse 25. It is enough for the disciple that he be as his master. Right. Anybody know what that means? Does anybody know what that means? I'm gonna read it again. Verse 25. It is enough for the disciple that he be as his master, and the servant as his Lord. Anybody know what that means? When it says the disciple to be as his master? Oh, time's sake, I just answered. It means like for the disciple for the low ranking men to be like the higher ranking men. You should want to be as so the high ranking men are setting good examples. They're not out here they're not out here sleeping with women and leaving them. Right, to be as the same mind. All right, yeah, all right, most high in Christ. That's a good answer. To be as in the same mind as the men above you. Right? Because the men above you are going to be more, what can I say? The men above you are going to be more seasoned. So you should follow that example of trying to be seasoned. You know what I mean? You should have they're going to be more disciplined. So you should try to be more disciplined. Like the men above you. Don't be if the men above you is undisciplined, and the men below him will be undisciplined. Because they're going to be they're following his example. That's why it's important to be a good leader. That's why it's important to be a good leader. You got to be right there. You got to be right there with the brothers in the trenches, giving orders. Push. Hey, huddle them up. Hey, we gotta fight on. You know what I'm talking about? We gotta real talk. And it says, if they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them of his household? Right. Because if he's a bad leader, he's gonna raise bad servants, bad disciples. If he's a bad master, you're not gonna have good disciples. They're gonna be lazy, not want to do nothing. No boots on the ground, no building no camp signs, nothing. They're gonna be sitting there lazy, and they're gonna end up smoking weed or messing with that whore, or smoking cigarettes, or celebrating Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving. They're gonna end up going back into the world. And that's something that we don't do. That's something that we don't do. That's why ranking order is so important, because you have to follow the men that's above you. You have to follow the men that's above you. They can't be stagnant in the truth. Right, obviously, right. An idle mind. They can't be stagnant. They got to be forever growing, forever studied up. They can't be pussyfooting. I think I learned that word like 2 weeks ago. But they can't be pussyfooting. They can't be they can't be lazy minded. They got to be trying to find new ways to bring brothers in the truth. They got to be trying to find new ways to do this and new ways to do that, and trying to complete that task and complete this task, and find ways on how to get this task completed. That's what makes a good leader. To have went through it already and succeeded at that. So that way he can come up and he can push the brothers below him, like, hey, when we was doing this, we was doing that. You know what I'm talking about? So when I was coming up, I was doing this. I was trying to get in. I was trying to get out there and go pass out flyers. I was trying to be at every event, fringed up, trying to show my face, letting everybody know that I'm here. You know what I mean? So that way brothers don't just get idle-minded. Don't get stagnant in the truth. They're always progressing. But I'm going to read this one more time. Matthew 10, verse 24. The disciple is not above his master, nor the servant above his Lord. Verse 25. It is enough for the disciple that he be as his master. and the servant as his Lord. If they have called the master of the house of Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them of his household? Right, because we supposed to strive and be like the men above us. Right, because we only learn what we see. We're not what would you call it? We're vision learners. We learn by seeing and doing. That's how Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans learn. We learn by seeing and doing. You probably get some instructions and can't read it at all. Be like, but then but then you see it get done. You be like, I got it. I know exactly how to do it, and might do it perfect. Sometimes we're visual learners. That's why they keep that picture of Caesar Borgia at church all the time. So you can get a brother, and they can be and they can be moving fast in the truth, moving forward. Like, yeah, we doing this, we doing that. They be in the truth. Go to church and get rolled back to sleep. It's because they're not keeping that rank in order. If they was like the men above them, they would have been like, nah, I ain't doing it. And if they was gonna go to church, they should have called the men above them, like, hey man, my mama want me to go to church and this, that, and they say no. You ever say, I ain't doing it? Ain't nobody ever said that? It feels good sometimes, but like, nah, you know what I'm talking about? That's not in my culture. That's breaking the laws of God. No, I can't do that. It feels good that feels damn good. And then when you say it around people, and they be like, what you talking about? And do you get to explain it? Oh man, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. They be looking at you like, you a new now. I remember when we used to do this and do that. You ain't doing none of that no more. Especially when they be in the world, they be like, I admire that. But there's plenty of niggas out here that say, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and never get it done. But then you actually did it. But they're not gonna do it though. But you never know. You might give them stay in their ear, give them some time. They might come into school and be one of the hardest workers, be one of the hardest working brothers in the school, or hardest working sisters in the school. Just because they tired of that lifestyle, they just don't know how to stop it. But then they see you stopped everything that you was doing that was wicked. So then they be like, you know what? I got to get with that brother right there because he know how to stop. He know how to stop smoking weed. He know how to stop selling drugs. He know how to stop messing with whores. He know how to stop doing things that needs to be stopped. So I need to get with him so I can be like him. Right. Now let's get into Exodus. We're gonna go to Exodus 18, chapter 18, verse 21. Exodus chapter 18, verse 21. Exodus chapter 18, verse 21. All right, you ready? This is the book of Exodus chapter 18, verse 21. It says, moreover, thou shalt provide out of all people able men. Right. It says because the Lord's gonna provide able men. Can't just be any old regular old Negro on the street. He got to be an able man. He got to be able. He's gonna watch and he's gonna explain it. Such as fear God. It says such as fear God. You got to fear the Most High, right? You got to be a man that fears the Most High. Men of truth. Right, you got to be in the truth. You got to be in this. You got to be keeping the laws of God. That's what the truth is. That's how you reach righteousness. Is keeping the laws of God. Right. Hating covetousness. right? Because you can't be sitting there wanting what a brother got. That leads to jealousy, man. Like, well, he got to have the nice car. I want a nice car. Well, he got to have 3 chains. I want 3 chains. Well, he got to have that. I want that. Well, he got coveting his wife. Man, look at that. Look at her. His wife fine. No, hey, that's your wife, brother. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, I ain't Christ. You know, you feel me? You can't be wanting what another brother got. You got to just stay in your own lane and get what you got. Because the Lord provided him that, but the Lord might provide you. Um, the Lord might give him a beautiful wife, but then the Lord might give you 4 or 5 kids. Might give you three beautiful wives. You never know. That's why it's important not to be covetousness and a place such over them to be rulers of thousands, right? And rulers of hundreds, and rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s, right? That's rank and order. That's rank and order because they're over the people. But they have to be able men and that fear the Most High, men of the truth, men that keep the law, statutes, and commandments. They said men of that hating covetousness, right? And then that's the men that you place over the people, right? And it says they be rulers of thousands. Well, they're gonna be ruling thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s. That's rulership right there. But as well, with rank comes responsibility. And the next verse is going to let you know. And it says, and let them judge the people at all seasons. That's why they got to be able men. And they have to fear the God. And they have to fear the Most High. And they have to be men of truth. Because they got to judge the people. And it says at all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee. Right? So if it's a great matter, they're going to bring it to the men above them. And it says, but every small matter they shall judge. Right. So if it's a small matter that you can judge, hey, y'all judge it. But they have to be able men that fear God. So they have to be a righteous man. It can't be TD Jakes. Can't be Creflo Dollar. Can't be Martin Luther King. If it was Martin Luther King, he's gonna judge the matter to hold hands with white people so he can keep on having sex with the oppressor's women. Right. Can't be Malcolm X because he's gonna want to have you holding hands in hands with Arabs, being a Muslim, kissing a rock, worshiping the moon and the stars. The hell? Right? It can't be them. It's gonna have to be able men that fear the Most High. It's gonna have to be Commander General Yohanan, man, and the men that he set up. Cause ain't no pussyfooting here in the I.S.U.P.K. Sorry, I don't know if that. I'm gonna stop saying that. Stop saying that pussyfooting word. And it says, so it be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee. Right. Because if Commander General Yohanan was doing it all by himself, it'd be a hard task. But that's why he set up generals and captains and officers of 5,000 and officers of 5,000 and officers of 1,000, officers of 500, and officers of 50. That's why they set that up. That's why they set that up. That's why Commander Junior Johanna set it up, because it says, "And they shall bear the burden with thee." So we also bear we bear that burden. So that way we don't have to go to him for every we don't have to go to the higher ranking men for every little thing. For every little itty bitty problem. The generals don't We don't have to go to the generals. We can go to our camp leader. We can go to 1,000. We can go to a 500. We can go something else, and they'll be like, you know what? This is what y'all should do. You feel me? Like, this is what y'all should do. Stop it. They can say something like that. So like, you feel me? And if it's a big matter, be like, hey, you know what? I think for that, I think you should go get counsel from your camp leader. You should go get counsel from this, from that. But it's something simple like, what we gonna serve tonight for after class? What we gonna eat? It could be something simple like that. You know what I mean? Hey, get chicken. Brother be like, I want chicken. I want this. I want that. And a higher ranking man be like, hey, go get some so get the chicken out. Get the chicken. We'll have spaghetti tomorrow. And then so and then next week we'll go get tacos. And you feel me, or something like that. We're gonna start. Is that it on that? Right. We're gonna start at verse 21 again. Exodus chapter 18, verse 21. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness. Right. So these men are able men, and they fear the Most High. So they're not around here just being weak minded men. What was that? Idle minded, being idle minded men, stagnant. They're not doing that. They're out here trying to find innovative ways on how to get tasks completed. Right? They're not pussyfooting. And place over them to be rulers of thousands, and rulers of hundreds, and rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s. See, so what the I.S.U.P.K has set up, that's biblical, man. That is biblical what the I.S.U.P.K has set up to have rulers over people. And I'm pretty sure the 10s report back to the 50s, and the 50s report back to the hundreds, and the hundreds report back to the thousands, and so forth and so forth. I'm pretty sure that's how because that's how ranking order goes. The orders come down and the reports go up. Right? The reports go up about what's going on, and then the orders come down. That's what happens. That's what it is. And it says, and let them judge the people at all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. And so shall it be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee. So it should be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee. So we bear the burden of ruling with the higher ranking men, because when something happens, hey, go handle that. You go handle that. Y'all two go handle that. You know what I mean? And then report back to me about what's going on and what needs to be done and what's being done. But y'all go handle that. I need this done. I need that done. I need that done. And see if they're able men. See if they get that job done. That's the only way. That's the only way you make soldiers, by giving them orders, right? What's the next scripture? Slack you. Man. Let's go to Deuteronomy 1 and 11. Right, the book of Deuteronomy 1 and 11. Oh yeah, but that's how that's how Fortune 500 companies run. That's how that's why they have CEOs and CFOs and area managers and or district managers and area managers and general managers. Then they got assistant managers, they got team leaders, and then they got employees. That's how they run, because it'd be impossible for the men at the top to run all of those. It'd be possible for the CEO to run all of those establishments. So he has to set people up that he trusts that'll run that and run it like, you know what I mean. And then they set people up that they trust after getting wise understanding about, hey, you know what I mean. Do you think that person to be a good this and that and a that this? I could do the run. Ready? The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 11. The Lord God of your fathers make you 1,000 times so many more as ye are, and bless you. Oh yeah. Okay. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 11. The Lord, the Lord God of your fathers make you 1,000 times, right? Make you 1,000 times so many more as ye are, and bless you, as he hath promised you. Right? And then he said, how can I myself alone bear your cumbrance and your burden and your strife? Right? This is Moses. This is Moses talking to the people, because the Most High, right, has made us a great and mighty nation. He multiplied us, right? And then the people, as just like everything else, when the people get multiplied, their needs get multiplied. They're gonna need more food. They're gonna need more food, more watching over. They're gonna need more understanding. Everything is gonna be multiplied, because they got multiplied as in people, so then they're gonna get multiplied as in their needs, right? And this is verse 13. It says, "Take you wise men and understanding, and known among your tribes." Right. So this is Moses when he's breaking them down into what would you call it, into companies, into masters set over the people. That's why it says, take you wise men, not foolish men, not just regular old anybody's. It says, take you wise men and understanding men, and known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you. Right? Because they first they have to be wise men, and then they have to have understanding, a good understanding. And then they have to be known among your tribes, because if you're not known, if you're not out there in the streets letting the people see your face, then you're just going to be like TD Jakes. You're going to be like Queffro Dollar. When something happens, when something happens, they go run and hide. You don't see their face in struggle time. But when something happens, you see the I.S.U.P.K there. Like with the mission to Acuna. When those Haitians needed a safe haven, or needed somebody to come help them, the I.S.U.P.K went there. Nobody, Queffro Dollar wasn't there, TD Jakes wasn't there, Joel Osteen didn't come out. Nobody came out except the I.S.U.P.K, and the I.S.U.P.K gave them food, gave them water, but the most important thing that we gave them was hope, man. The most important thing that we gave them was a safe haven of the I.S.U.P.K. The most important thing we gave them was brotherhood, man. We showed them that they was not alone out here. that there's brothers and sisters out here that's willing to that's willing to help you and willing to take care of you. And your help does not always have to come from another nation. Your help doesn't always have to come from the oppressor, man. That your brothers can help you also. That's what we gave. That's what we gave our Levite brothers. And we also gave them an identity that they can that they can come together with. Because at first they thought they was Haitians, and we came out there and told them that they're Levites, the Lord's chosen people. Then they was like, "Oh, okay." And then you know what? They got in perfect ranking order. They got in perfect order. They was lined up so straight to receive whatever we was given, because they knew that we didn't come to whoop them, to beat them, to harm them. We came to actually help our brothers, and we did it out of love for our brothers. We didn't do it because we was gonna get a check. We didn't go out there because we was gonna get a check to do so. We went out there because we loved our brothers. We went out there because we went out there because we want to help our brothers. We want to bring the nation of Israel back together. That's why we went out there. That's why we went out there for our people. And then they're gonna say, well, if you want to donate it, if you want to give them something, you got to go give it to the Christian church. No. What Captain Yates like to say, that they're not at the Christian church, they under a bridge. You know what I'm talking about? My people ain't at the Christian church, they under a bridge. You feel me? Like, y'all want us to go give it to the Christian church? That makes no sense. Like, that's some good. I'm drinking some like mango guava juice or something like that. It's pretty good. Mango guava. I don't know. It's pretty delicious though. I can't stop drinking it. Verse 13 says, "Take you wise men and understanding and known among your tribes." See, so you got to be well known. You got to be willing to be out there. And during Hurricane Harvey, during Hurricane Katrina, during I don't know what hurricane it was that went through Haiti, but when the Haitians need a safe haven, you got to be where that you got to go where the people need you to be at. You can't expect them to go to your church, and then even if they go to your church, you're not going to be there. You ain't gonna be there. Y'all gonna close the doors on them like they always do. Why? Because they're not there to do the Lord's work. They're just there to get their money. They're there to get everybody's money. They're not there to do the Lord's work. And you know how we know that? Because they don't care nothing about God and His laws. They don't do the Lord's work because they don't keep the laws of God. That's how we know. They're just there for a check. And it says, "And take you wise men and understanding men and known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you." Right, because they, you know, tomorrow they let them. He make them rulers over them, over the people. So the people chose who they wanted to be captains. And he says, "And ye answered me and said, the thing which thou hast spoken is good for us to do." Right. Right. And it says, "And ye answered me and said, the thing which thou hast spoken is good for us to do." Right. Because it's good for us to have somebody that's over us that we can depend on in the time of need. That's a good thing. That's not no half step. What would you call it? That's not no pussyfooting. There it is again. That's a good thing. You know what I'm talking about? That's a good thing. So when we need help, we can call the on the brothers that's over us, and they can go ahead and come help and do what they need to do. Do their job. which is take care of the nation. Right? Verse 15. So I took the chief of your tribes, wise men, and known, and made them heads over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over fifties, and captains over tens, and officers among your tribes. Right. So they start so they start putting they start putting brothers together, companies together. You know, I'm talking about captains over thousands, captains over hundreds, captains over fifties, captains over tens. These as in officers among your tribes. So they started putting they started putting rulers there. They started putting people that was able men that were wise, that were able to get the job done. They start putting them over, like, there you go. You feel me? So if you got a problem, you go to that brother over there. And then if he can't handle it, he'll go to his superior. And if he can't handle it, he'll go to his superior. He go to the men above him. So what that's saying is that that the men above you is really there to serve the men below them. Even though they take orders from the men above them, the men above them is there to serve the men below them, to do the thing, to get the things that they need. So if you need something, you go to the men above you. He goes and gets that. He helps you out with that. He helps you out with that. And the same go for him, and the same go for them. Chain of command goes down, the orders go down, and the information goes up. We're gonna read that one more time. We're gonna start at verse 11. It says, the Lord God of your fathers. All right, it says, the Lord God of your fathers make you 1,000 times so many more as ye are. So we was out there in the wilderness. What would you call it? We was out there in the wilderness, multiplying. We was out there in the wilderness, like getting more and more and more people, because we was out there, it was out there for 40 years. 40 years, multiple wives, 12 kids, a family. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. He said the fathers make you 1,000 times so many more as ye are, and bless you. Right? Because that's a blessing to have more and more people. That's a blessing. As he has promised you. How can I myself alone bear your cumbrance and your burden and your strife? So this is Moses telling the people, how can I alone bear your burden and your strife? How can I alone bear that? You know what I mean? I can't give you what y'all need. Y'all is way more than what we left Egypt with. How can I get more? Like, how can I get more and more and more by myself? I can't do it by myself. I need help. So he did a wise thing. He said, verse 13, take you wise men. Salaki. He said, take you wise men and understanding and known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you. He said, and ye answered me and said, the thing which thou hast spoken is good for us to do. That's a good thing for us to do. Like, that's what's up. I know the Lord put you over us, put you over the nation of Israel for a reason. I knew it. You know what I'm saying? That's a great idea. It's a great idea, sir. Right? He says, so I took the chief of your tribes, right? Wise men. So they were wise men. They wasn't just any regular old hootenanny. There go the words again. They were wise men and known. Right, so the people in these tribes, they knew them. They was like, yeah, I remember that was the one when we was walking through the what's the name, and the Amalekites came from behind us. He was one of the ones that stepped back and was like, no, you know what I mean? Tried to attack us. He was one of the ones that protected us. So I know he's gonna do a good job at serving at a good job at taking care of us, because he was taking care of us when we was in time of need, when we was leaving Egypt. He was one of the ones that was always around, taking care of the elder, teaching the young men. You know what I'm talking about? He was always one of the ones that that wasn't lazy, that wasn't sitting in the house smoking weed. Right. So I took the chief of your tribes, wise men and known, and made them heads over you. Oh, man. Over you. Captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over 50s, and captains over tens, and officers among your tribes. So Moses set up a whole rank and order system over the nation of Israel to keep everybody intact, keep everybody in decency and in order. That's what Moses did. Moses was like, yeah, we gonna set this up. Why? Because I'm pretty sure that's how the Lord wanted it. And Moses was getting the orders done. Where we at? Let's now get First Samuel verses chapter 9, verse 9. First Samuel chapter 9, verse 9. If there's any questions, y'all can go ahead and type them in the chat. I get some questions. We can take some questions. Ooh, I like questions. Helps me sharpen my sword. Shkling, shkling, shkling. Right? Y'all ready? First Samuel chapter 9, verse 9. It says, before time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of God. So back in the day, when a man went to inquire of the Most High, right? When a man went to go look for the most, when a man needed the advice of a wise man. No sweat. I'll put the number that you need to call in the chat. No sweat. You can, so before time, when a man was inquired of going to talk to the Most High, or needed advice from the Most High, right? This is what it says, before time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of God, thus he spake, come and let us go to the seer, right? Seer, S-E-E-R, like a seer, like seer, like the person that sees, right? For he that is now called a prophet was before time called a seer. So before they were called prophets, they were called seers. Let me put this number in the chat. Give me 1 second. You can call that number, and whoever answers, that's the man in charge. whoever answers that phone, he have all the answers for you. It says, so before time in Israel when a man went to inquire of God. So before a time when a man went when a man in Israel wants no sweat when somebody went to inquire of the Most High, right? What they did was they went to the prophets. They didn't go to the man at church. They didn't go to the man that never was there. They went to the prophet. They went to the man that was always keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Always the one that the Most High talked to, the one that was right, right. And that's what the I.S.U.P.K is. We go on them corners every week, and we prophesy the downfall of Babylon the Great. We teach class 7 days a week. We're actually taking back our culture. That is what we're doing. We are taking back our culture. We are the priests and prophets of old back on the earth. Right? So when you want to inquire about the Most High and what the Most High has set up, you go to the prophets. You come to the I.S.U.P.K. You come to the school. Because when they was out there in Acuna, we were the only ones that went to them. We didn't wait for them to come to us. We went to them. We went to our brothers and our sisters that needed help. And we gave them a safe haven. I'm pretty sure they passed out plenty of flyers, plenty of cards. Nobody there spoke Creole, or is it Patois? Creole or Patois. Nobody there spoke Creole or Patois. So we got on the phone with a brother in the school that spoke Creole, and he spoke to the people. We wasn't worried about that. We couldn't speak that language. The Lord gave us a way to speak that language. He did. The Lord gave us a way how to communicate with our people, even though they speak different languages. So it says, before a time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of the Most High, thus he spake, come and let us go to the seer. For he that is now called a prophet was before time called a seer. So back in the day, there was a seer. He was a seer. Now we call them prophets. Back then, they were seers. It says, then said Saul to his servant, well said, come, let us go. And so they went unto the city where the man of God was. Right. So Saul had a servant. Saul had a servant. And this servant came up with a great idea. He was like, hey, if you want to inquire about about the Most High, why don't we go see the seer? Let's go see the priest of prophets. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Let's go see the priest of prophets. Let's go see the seer. And he was like, you know what? That's a good idea. That's what he told me. You know what? That's a banging idea. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go see the seer. See? So yeah, that's why I keep the men below me under. You know, they keep them around because they're wise. Yeah, that was a wise thing. That was a wise choice right there. So it's not always about giving orders, taking orders. Sometimes it's about getting orders. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get I mean, it's not about giving orders. Sometimes you get suggestions from the men below you and be like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's go with that one. You know what I mean? You know what? That is a great. Look at him like, you know what? That's a good suggestion. Boy, you thinking. Now we're gonna go with his idea. You know what I'm talking about? So they went to the city where the man of God was. You know what I'm talking about? That's what they went to the city where the man of the Most High was. He was like, yeah, that's where they went. Man, my throat is a little sore. How much time we got left? Right. Let's go to Exodus 4:14. Exodus 4, Exodus chapter 4, verse 14. Hey man, no sweat, no sweat. Make sure you call that number. Make sure you call that number. You call that number, we get all them answers to get answer for you, all them questions. If you want to join the school, I hope to see you in class. Just stay coming to class. Stay coming to class. You stay coming to class, you fight them demons. You're not alone in fighting demons. You know what I'm talking about? The priests and prophets of the I.S.U.P.K are excellent at fighting demons. We're professional demon fighters. That I don't want to sound too Christian, but that's what we do. We're professionals at this. We're professional demon fighters. When you want a demon fought, you come to the I.S.U.P.K. Hey, Most High in Christ. He said you got your little brother got you interested. Most High in Christ. Hey, that's the only way. Oh, young man, Jason's your brother. Oh, word up. That's my man right there, man. Young man, Jason's got a spirit. Got the spirit of the Lord on him, brother. I tell you that. Exodus 4, chapter 14. It says, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses. Yeah. The anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses. And he said, is not Aaron the Levite thy brother? Right? I know that he can speak well, right? Because at this time, Moses was worried about speaking to the people because Moses had a speech impediment. So he was worried about speaking to the people. You know what I mean? About speaking to the people, you know, because what if he's I don't know his speech impediment, but what if he stuttered? And you know what I mean? So he didn't want to speak to the people. Right? And he says, I know that he can speak well, and also behold, he cometh forth to meet thee. You know what I mean? So we're gonna keep reading. And when he seeth thee, he will be glad in his heart. So when he sees you, he be glad in his heart. No, he said when he sees thee, he be glad in his heart because he's like that's his brother. You know what I mean? So he's like, hey, Most High is giving Moses a way out of speaking. He said, why don't you just tell Aaron, you know what I'm talking about, and let Aaron speak to the people. They know him. He's a good speaker. You know what I'm talking about? He's a good speaker. So I talk to you. You tell Aaron. Aaron tells the people. That's rank and order right there. That's order and rank. That's to have communication like that, that has to be done decently and in order. Right? And verse 15 says, and thou shalt speak unto him and put words in his mouth, and I will be with thy mouth and with his mouth, and will teach you what ye shall do. That's what he said. He says, so Moses, you tell Aaron, and then I tell you, you feel me? Like you tell Aaron, I tell you, and then it's like, and then it's like, I'm talking to the people because I'm talking through you. Aaron's talking through you, and then you know what I mean. The people are listening. That's what it said. So it's like I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to you, and talking to you, and talking to you. So it's like I'm talking to the people because that's how we rocking right now. That's rank and order. Since you don't want to talk because you got a stumbling problem, you got a speech impediment, and I understand that. He was telling him, I understand it. You're my man, 100 grand and everything. I understand what you're going through, so I'm gonna give you a way out. Go. You tell Aaron. Aaron will tell the people. I tell you. You tell Aaron. Aaron tell the people, and we're gonna get it together like that. That's more rank and order in the Bible. That's more rank and order in the Bible. And then, matter of fact, we're gonna get this one last precept. Give me. Let's go to Mark 6 and Mark 37. Mark 6 and 37. Mark 6 and 37. We're gonna go to Mark. We're gonna start at 37. I'm gonna give y'all the backdrop. Mark 6 and 37. I'm gonna give y'all the backdrop. What's happening is it says he answered and said unto the people, give ye them to eat. So remember when he fed the people with 5 loaves of bread and a couple loaves of and a couple pieces of fish, right? So that's what's going down. That's what's going on right now, right? And so that's what's going on right now. And he's talking about like, hey, sit the people down, let's give them food to eat. But they're like, we ain't got enough food. You know what I'm talking about? You want us to go spend thousands of dollars on some bread? We can go get some bread and something else at the market. You know what I'm talking about? Come back, we can feed everybody, but we ain't got that much food right now. You know what I'm talking about? But that's a lesson for you that Christ be like, I got this, you got that. Let's put it together, and we'll have more than what we had. Right? And this what happened. It says, and he answered and said unto them, give ye them to eat. And they say unto him, shall we go and buy 200 pennyworth of bread and give them to eat? He said unto them, how many loaves have ye? How many loaves we got? Christ, tell them how many loaves we got, man. You know what I'm talking about? He said, go and see. And when they knew, they say 5 and 2 fishes. So they have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. And he commanded them to make all sit down by companies. Right? Well, what's companies? Companies is like ranks. You know what I'm talking about? Different ranks. Sit down by companies. So you have generals over here, captains over here, officers over here, officers of 5,000 over here, officers of 1,000 over here, officers of 500 right there, officers of 50 right here, right? And it says, where's he at? Oh, it says, and he commanded, verse 39 said, and he commanded them to make all sit down by companies upon the green grass. Verse 40, and they sat down in ranks by hundreds and by 50s. Right. So who said there's no rank and order in the New Testament? Oh, that's the Old Testament. That's all that you was all in the Old Testament talking about ranks. You weren't talking about rank and order in the New Testament. Christ wasn't like that. What? Christ has made the people sit down in companies. He says, and they sat down in ranks by hundreds and by 50s. Right. And that's how they ate. That's how they ate. First, the higher ranking men go eat. Then the next highest ranking men go eat. And the next highest ranking men go eat. And then the next men go eat. Then the wives and the kids go eat. That's how you make sure everybody gets fed. That's how you make sure everybody gets fed. We might have a little, but we got enough. Right? We might not have a little, but we got enough. And with that, we are the I.S.U.P.K. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. And we've been teaching the truth that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites that the Bible speak about since 1969. And with that, I pass the class over to, and we're gonna do the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. Oh man, my legs hurt. Right, it's the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K. Start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get the permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi 3, chapter 3, verses 8 to 10. Ma'ashera means 10th in the Hebrew. 10% of any penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever the amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations, the feast of the dedications, Hanukkah, the 25th day of the 9th month, by the space of 8 days. It starts Sunday, November 28th, 2021, for 8 days. You can find this in 1 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 52, verses 52 through 61. If any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, scarf. And this concludes the security announcements. Now we're gonna do the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. So with that, Amajim, which means to stand. Then we're gonna Sar, turn to face the east. We're gonna do the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayat, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwatka, Tabah, Ratazayaka, Hayat, I.S.U.P.K, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Hayat, Bashamayim, Nathan Lanawa, Wakam, Kal, Yawam, Basalat Lanawa, Kabawath Lanawa, Kasalat Lanawa, Kabawath Yanawa, Walala, Taba'ayanawa, Banasayawan, Abal, Hayashayanawa, Mayan, Rai, Hayat, Wakah, Hamalakwath, Walala, Wa'ata Pa'araf, Lai Walumyum, Aman. What we said, we're going to do the Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. There we're going to start, turn her face to front. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, Amadu Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shah Barakatham. Yadamatah. We're going to start, turn the face of sisters. Men of Israel, Amadu Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shemar Lathan Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shah. And with that, Yadamatah. With that, class dismissed.